breath away. Biking trails and back roads just begging to be discovered. Sit back and relax as Ray Tucker and longtime journalist Brian Hendricks explore our magnificent state with this week's edition of Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. Brought to you by Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
If this weather doesn't make you want to get out and explore, I don't know what would.
This is what I'm talking about. You know, we've been waiting for weeks for this. We've suffered through 2 ice and snowstorms. We've got all that going on, and welcome spring. Give it a big kiss.
Spring is not here yet.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. No, I told somebody this the other day. One of the biggest snows I've ever seen in Arkansas was in April.
That will happen, but it's springtime.
Well, you're a lot of fun there. All right, our first guest tonight, Brian Thrift with the Red Crest Championships. Slap me on the cheek. I'm sorry about that. Red Crest Championship, April 2nd through the 6th, Lake Gunterville, outside of Huntsville, Alabama. And Brian, I'll let you take it and run with it, baby.
So Brian Thrift has started to become a rather regular guest here. He's the 2023 Red Crest champion at Lake Norman in Charlotte, and he's going to be back there this year. And one of the best. He's from Shelby, North Carolina, one of the top anglers in the world, and we're glad to have him here on Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. Brian Thrift, welcome to Ray Tucker's.
Hey guys, glad to be back.
So this is coming.
That was quite a lengthy introduction.
Well, it was, but sometimes
I didn't know you were going to do that. I'd have done a drum roll.
Sometimes a man deserves a lengthy introduction. I've always wanted a man that needs no introduction, then don't introduce him. Yeah. I've always wanted to see that happen in a public setting.
I really interrupted you. Go
That's
ahead.
all right. But this is coming up. Lake Guntersville and Lake Guntersville, Alabama has hosted some big tournaments, a couple of Bassmaster Classics. What do you expect to have happen up there?
I think Guntersville's been fishing really, really good. So I expect it to show out. Like, we're going to be there the first week of April. I mean, there's not a better time of the year to be on the water bass fishing. So I expect it to be a really good event.
Right. If you would, kind of give us a little background on what people have to do to qualify to get here.
So the way you can qualify is through the Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour. They took the top 40 in points, and then there were several other guys invited from the Tackle Warehouse Invitational, which is another branch of the Major League Fishing organization. So the only way to get there is through Major League Fishing.
And there are some rule changes this year that are going to make it a little different. Well, maybe a lot different from years past. And how do you factor all that into the strat? Well, how have you factored that into the strategy of or does that even take place this year, or is that next year?
No. So this year we had some rule changes as far as the way the forward-facing sonar is allowed to be used. So they've limited it to only one period a day. So in Major League Fishing competition, we fish 3 2.5-hour periods, and only one period you're allowed to use the forward-facing sonar.
And how does that, because we've kind of seen, people that specialize in that, they do really, really well for the 2.5 hours they're able to do that, and then their performance drops off and other people kind of come up. How's that shaking up the way people fish?
I don't know particularly if it's changed the way anybody fishes. I mean, I think it's made guys realize, how important that forward-facing sonar period is on a lot of lakes. Because, a lot of the guys, especially that first tournament at Lake Conroe, it was so powerful with most of the fish being out on bait that, most of the guys that made the top 10 were doing it in one period with the forward-facing sonar.
Have people during the real intensive use of that over the years, have they learned anything from the use of forward-facing sonar, how fish behave during the day offshore, that even when they turn the thing off, that they're able to go ahead and take what they've learned using that and continue catching them?
Oh, yes, of course they have. I mean, it's taught bass fishermen so much just about the general behavior of of all species of fish, really, because you can see how they're reacting to a bait. You can see, what they're doing as you work the bait, and you can adjust accordingly to make those fish react and get them to bite a lot of times.
How prone are bass to, you're on a school of them and you're catching them with your swim bait or whatever you're doing, and then you have to turn it off. How prone are bass to just relocate on you? You're in the middle of them for a couple hours and then they're just gone. Does that ever happen?
Oh yeah, that happens a lot. I mean, the more you put pressure on something, the more it's going to try to relieve that pressure. Bass are no different than anything else.
And I would think that, with the new rules, it's really brought some of the traditional, bass fishing tactics back to the forefront of, pitching and brush and doing the things that, people used to do before the offshore thing became so prominent. Are we seeing that, in Major League Fishing?
Say that again now.
Are we seeing, the return of tactics, shallow water tactics, flip and brush, the types of things that people used to do very successfully? Are you seeing those return to prominence, now that the use of forward facing has kind of been curtailed a bit?
Yeah, you're definitely seeing that. I mean, you're seeing a lot more techniques throughout the course of a day, just because you're only allowed that one period of forward facing. So you are starting to see a lot of that. And I think it's great because it makes the guy have to make decisions throughout the course of the day. They can't stick with one thing. They've got to, if they're the strong forward-facing guys or they've got on a strong pattern with that during practice, they're going to make that work for one period, and then they've got to put it up and get after them old school.
Is there some strategy involved as to when you decide your period for that is going to be?
I definitely think there is some strategy there. I think a lot of it depends on what you see in practice and what the weather's going to be. Like, I think that's a big factor into it, is the weather, because obviously I know myself that I like to, when I'm using forward facing, I want it to be as calm as it can be so I can get lined up and make an accurate presentation of those fish. So I tend to look at what the wind's going to do throughout the course of the day, and if the wind's going to be blowing like crazy at one stretch of the day, I'm going to utilize my forward-facing period when the wind's supposed to be the lightest, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. How far in advance do you have to announce that?
So you just have to announce it before the start of the period. So you can't go halfway through the period and say, all right, I'm going to use it. It's got to be before the actual period begins.
So you won the BFL All-American on Lake DeGray a number of years ago, and then you won the Red Crest in 2023. Those two events and all the good things that have happened to you in between, how's that changed your life and changed your career? As we're coming up on a break, we may have to divide this up into two segments because Ray's laughing at me over here.
Well, first off, I didn't win the All-American on DeGray. I've never fished Lake DeGray, so I don't even know where it's at.
Was it Hamilton or which one was it? Hamilton?
Yes, I won the Forest Wood Cup on Lake Hamilton.
Okay, I'm sorry. Forest Wood Cup.
All right. No, it's fine.
All right. Those were, anyway, we're going to take a little break here, but we're going to come back and talk about what high-level success means to an angler and his family. How do you get there? How do you sustain it? And all those good things. Come back with us. Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. We're visiting with Brian Thrift of Shelby, North Carolina.
The name says it all, and you'll find Honda's best models at Honda of North Little Rock, as they're your one-stop destination for quality motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides. If you have a passion for adventure, head on over to Honda of North Little Rock as they cater to both thrill seekers and outdoor enthusiasts. Whether you're hitting the trails, cruising the roads, or exploring rugged terrain, we'll find the perfect ride for you. Nothing matches Honda's power, reliability, and innovation. Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
Arkansas is special. Our people are honest and hardworking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is pure Arkansas. We were raised here, we live here, and we're straight shooters. Unfortunately, out-of-state lawyers who care nothing about Arkansas are advertising for your legal business. They don't understand that you don't hand Arkansans a pile of cow dung and try to tell us it's a rose. Don't be just a number. Call the Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
When was the last time you went exploring in Arkansas? More importantly, when was the last time you went exploring the natural state on a Honda from Honda of North Little Rock? There are hundreds of miles of trails and back roads to discover. So if you have a passion for adventure, we have just the perfect Honda for you. Our new showroom is just that, as we show off Honda's best models of ATVs, motorcycles, and side-by-sides. We'll find you the perfect ride. Stop in today at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
This is Anthony Lucas, here to tell you about my favorite spot in Little Rock, Corky's. Sure, Corky's may look all ribs and barbecue on the outside, but did you know Corky's was also nominated for Central Arkansas's best catfish? And don't get me started on their chicken, shrimp, and nachos.
Those Big Joe burgers, Anthony.
Big Joe, when did you get here?
You really stealing my thunder, Anthony. Corky's is my place.
No way you love Corky's like me, Joe.
Talk to me when you have your own menu item, Lucas.
Corky's ribs and barbecue.
When you're out and about in the natural state, whether it's work or play, be sure to make W's Convenience Stores your one-stop shop. With 34 locations in Central Arkansas, they're easy to find. Headed to the lake or just taking in the beauty of Arkansas? Stop in at your nearest W's location. Their double blend of coffee is always hot and fresh. Snacks, W's has them. Want more than a snack? Many W's have hot delis. And don't forget the hot breakfast sandwiches. W's, where you gas it, grab it, and go.
Are you ready to take your classic car or vintage 4x4 to the next level? Look no further than Overland Auto Restoration in Cabot. From mechanical and performance upgrades to new upholstery and paint, our experienced team at Overland is dedicated to restoring the beauty and heritage of your classic vehicle. Give Overland Auto Restoration a call at 501-246-4372 or visit overlandautoworks.com and get your classic ride back on the road and better than ever.
It's Justin Acri. If you're dealing with back or neck pain, the Orthopedic and Spine Hospital at UAMS Health is here to help. Whether it's neurosurgery, orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, or pain management, their experts have you covered with the latest technology and minimally invasive techniques. They're focused on reducing your pain, improving mobility, and getting you back to doing what you love. Call 501-686-TOSH to set up an appointment today. That's 501-686-8674. The doctor will see you now.
The name says it all, and you'll find Honda's best models at Honda of North Little Rock, as they're your one-stop destination for quality motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides. If you have a passion for adventure, head on over to Honda of North Little Rock, as they cater to both thrill seekers and outdoor enthusiasts. Whether you're hitting the trails, cruising the roads, or exploring rugged terrain, we'll find the perfect ride for you. Nothing matches Honda's power, reliability, and innovation. Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters. We are back with Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors, coming to you live from our Honda North Little Rock studios. Fishing with Brian Thrift, one of the most successful bass anglers out there. Major championship coming up, B.
Major championship, 1st of April at Lake Gunnersville, Alabama. Brian won the 2023 Red Crest Championship in Lake Norman. He won the Forest Wood Cup long time ago. Gosh, I don't remember. That was, 2011, 2012?
That was 2019 when I won the cup.
I tell you what, I guess I've slept a little too much.
I hope that's your only problem.
Yeah, so, a couple of big championships like that, aside from the obvious, the money, how do winning, that kind of winning, that level of winning, how does that change your life? How does that change your standing in the community? What does that do for your family?
Obviously, monetarily, it does a lot.
Right.
That's the number one reason, is being able to have that $300,000. That that sets you up for a couple years.
Yep.
That's probably the biggest thing for me was that. But it also, on the fishing side of things, it does so much for your confidence level as a professional angler, and it just gets you in a groove, and just it's hard to explain. I mean, momentum is definitely a thing in the world of bass fishing, especially professional bass fishing. And it seems like when things are going right, you're making all the right decisions. You're not second guessing your decisions, and that's something that means a lot when you're traveling the country, fishing all over the place competitively and trying to make a living.
Brian, if you would, tell us a little bit about Lake Guntersville, what makes it so special.
Lake Guntersville, what makes it so special is, it's one of the historic fisheries in the United States. I mean, it's been labeled as one of the best lakes in the country several times, as the number one destination to go bass fishing. And I think it's returning back to those glory days.
I'm going to say something probably a little controversial here, but we're going back to momentum and competition. And I always believed that the difference between Kevin Van Dam and everybody else in the sport was about 5%. He just prepared. They're all good, right? But he prepared 5% more, 5% more intense. He spent, just 5%. And I always felt like when he caught Rick Clunn with those 4 classics, I think he eased off a little bit and kind of lost that 5%, and he kind of got back with the rest of the pack. And I know. People laugh at me when I say that, but it's that way in a lot of sports too. And when you talk about your own momentum and your own drive and your own, how do you maintain that level of intensity and preparation?
That is something that is very hard to do, especially for the. I mean, I don't want to say I'm one of the older guys, but I guess I kind of am now. To me, it's not about preparing less or not having the drive. It's just as you age and get older, you have more priorities. You start a family becomes number one, things like that. And I think that takes, I'm not going to say it takes your attention away from what you were doing, but it's, the fishing side of it is not number one anymore. And I think you see that a lot with guys as they age in the industry and as their careers get older and older, that they're more content, and they don't have the time to get out there and get after it like they did, way back when.
Do you have the luxury of some of your family traveling with you?
I do not all the time. I would say about half the tournaments. I've got 2 sons. They're both still in school, so that's kind of a hard deal to be able to have them travel with me, because they can't be missing school. We'll get in trouble. But during the events we have in the summertime, or if we have an event during spring break, and obviously Red Crest, the championship, they'll definitely come to that.
When we're coming up on a transitional time, it's still late winter, it's still cold, water temperature's still here, at least in the 40s, I guess. When you're starting to prepare for an April tournament, how do you look ahead and get away from what's going on now and prepare for what's going to be going on then?
So that's something that's hard to do when you talk about pre-practice. So the way the MLF rules are, we have a 30-day off limit. So we can't be on the body of water 30 days before official practice starts. And we get 2 days of practice. So that's something where you have to spend a lot of time, if you go pre-practice, just staring at your electronics and just seeing what all the lake has to offer. Maybe not really figuring out the fish as much, but seeing what the predominant forage is, what the predominant type of cover is, and things like that is what really helps you the most when you talk about practicing before you get to an event.
There's a lot of information out there about, in the past, you can go back and look at past tournaments. How much of that do you do on the internet?
I do quite a bit just to see what what the lake's been fishing like, do a simple Google search and figure out what kind of weights is taken for a 5-fish limit tournament and things like that. But it's kind of it's different with the MLF format because our format is every fish counts over the minimum scoreable weight. So whatever the event is, they'll determine what a keeper is on that body of water and determine what that fish weighs, and that's what our minimum scoreable will be. So I think at Lake Gunnersville it's the 2-pounder. And so for our format, every bass you catch throughout the course of the day that weighs over 2 pounds is scored. So you could catch 42 pounders and have 80 pounds.
We're going to take us another break here. Can you stay with us one more segment?
Yes, sir.
All right. Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors visiting with Brian Thrift. Come back and join us.
When was the last time you went exploring in Arkansas? More importantly, when was the last time you went exploring the natural state on a Honda from Honda of North Little Rock? There are hundreds of miles of trails and back roads to discover. So if you have a passion for adventure, we have just the perfect Honda for you. Our new showroom is just that, as we show off Honda's best models of ATVs, motorcycles, and side-by-sides. We'll find you the perfect ride. Stop in today at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
Winter's kicked off at Gwatney Buick GMC's Snows Out Closeout. Right now, get your choice of 24 Canyon or 25 Enclave with $5,000 melted off the MSRP. 2025 Turbo Max Sierra and 2024 Terrain are frozen at 0.9%. Get your snow boots on because these savings are deep. Get a flurry of discounts on new Yukons, up to $5,000 off MSRP. Brand new Hummers with MSRPs thawed down by $10,000. Hummer EVs at 0% for 60 months. 24 or 25 Encore GX preferred at 0.9. Call 501-945-4444. If you need help with a down payment, we're matching your tax return up to $1,000. Gwatney Buick GMC, 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. GwatneyBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. It's Gwatney Buick GMC's Snows Out Closeout. No weather's going to stop this sale. All offers with approved credit. 30259, 30318, 31026, 30763.
The king of Arkansas sports talk, Randy Rainwater for Bet Saracen.
There's big news in the mobile sports betting business. Bet Saracen was just named the 15th largest sports book in America. That's because Arkansans like to do business with a winner. Find all your winners on Bet Saracen. Download it today. And look for my RR prop bet specials. I pick them, you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
New treatments for joint pain are here. By now you've heard about regenerative medicine. If you're wondering if you're a good candidate, answer these questions. First, does chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints keep you from doing the things you enjoy? Golfing, jogging, time with the family. Does it hurt doing the things you need to do? Like getting out of bed, sleeping, working, and walking. And finally, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? If you answered yes to any of those, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Learn about exciting advancements in regenerative treatments that can give you long-lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Get your free consultation today. Call QC Kinetics. That's QC Kinetics. Here's the phone number.
Call now, 501-222-8440. That's 501-222-8440. QC Kinetics, 501-222-8440.
As your partner in workforce management, the payroll company provides a meticulous white glove experience that empowers you to hire, manage, and grow. We present customized plans designed to deliver immediate impact on your organization and bottom line. Our white glove service, complete with an employee hotline, is yours to ensure 360-degree execution of your new solutions. Your success is our success. The Payroll Company. Hire, manage, grow. Visit morethanpayroll.com.
The name says it all, and you'll find Honda's best models at Honda of North Little Rock, as they're your one-stop destination for quality motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides. If you have a passion for adventure, head on over to Honda of North Little Rock, as they cater to both thrill seekers and outdoor enthusiasts. Whether you're hitting the trails, cruising the roads, or exploring rugged terrain, we'll find the perfect ride for you. Nothing matches Honda's power, reliability, and innovation. Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters. We are joined now by Neil Atkinson with Saracen Casino Resort down in Pine Bluff. Neil, how are you this evening?
Doing very well. Doing very well. Really happy with that win that Arkansas had this weekend, and they are a little bit more solidly in the last four in, and we need to keep it that way with another win against Texas coming up on Wednesday.
What you got a spread on that?
No, it's not out quite yet. It probably won't be out until tomorrow afternoon. But baseball is back in season 2, so had a big weekend in baseball. They played 3 different teams. They lost to Kansas State on Friday night, but won the next 2 nights. And they're playing Grambling, so that one's going to be an interesting game. And we've got some interesting prop bets up for that one. Go to the app and check it out. We've got the beer cap special, courtesy of Double R Randy Rainwater, and that's how many times the bases are loaded. And they said they showed out this weekend in Texas, putting the beer caps on anytime bases were loaded. So we put a fun bet up to have a little fun with it against Grambling.
So how much play you get on Arkansas baseball?
We actually get we get quite a bit. People are really in tune to baseball. A lot of baseball fans, Major League Baseball, the season openers are not till March 28th. They got a couple games in Tokyo before that, but spring practice just started, and a lot of the baseball all summer long, they really get into college, and it's even bigger this year. And we've even got live betting on the conference games this year, or most of them, and the bigger matchups. So there's been a lot more attention to college baseball and sports betting. Especially in this state, they're ranked number 4.
Neil, always a pleasure to talk to you. Have a great rest of the week. All right.
All right.
Download the app, betsaracen.com.
And we're back with Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors, visiting with Brian Thrift of Shelby, North Carolina, coming up on the Red Crest Bass Fishing Championship. And one thing I was going to ask you, Brian, I've been writing a lot about line lately and how fishing lines have evolved and improved. And, anglers have had to change with it. There's a lot of specialty lines that you use for this thing and that thing. How does a professional like yourself go about making their line selections, based on what they intend to do?
A lot of it is based on the bait you're throwing, the type of cover you're fishing, and the clarity of the water. So there's a lot of different specialized lines that are unique for different situations you encounter on the water, and P-Line has pretty much all of them covered. So they've got everything from a braid that came out 2 years ago that doesn't fade. It's actually got a warranty that if it ever loses color, they'll replace it. So that braided line, anytime I'm fishing heavy vegetation, I'm going to be using braid, 50, 65-pound P-Line braid. And they've got several different types of fluorocarbons that are great for clear water situations. And they've even got a topwater line that's geared toward you throwing topwater bait that's going to stay on the surface and allow that topwater bait to work like it's supposed to. The biggest thing when you're choosing a line, I would say, as far as a fluorocarbon goes, is there's different types of fluorocarbon. So with P-Line, there are 2 main types of fluorocarbon. Is the 100% fluorocarbon, and then they have the tactical fluorocarbon. And I get asked questions a lot about when do you throw one of the fluorocarbons over the other. And the difference in those 2 fluorocarbons, with the 100% fluorocarbon, it's a little bit stiffer. It doesn't have as much stretch. So anytime I'm throwing a bait that I'm going to be setting the hook with, like if I'm dragging a jig or throwing a Carolina rig, something like that, where I have to physically set the hook and drive that hook through a piece of plastic or something like that, I'm going to be throwing that 100% P-Line fluorocarbon just because it has less stretch and I can feel the bottom better, and it just transmits all those vibrations better by being a little bit stiffer, harder line. And the tactical fluorocarbon, it being a little bit softer, it has a little more stretch. That is what I use anytime I'm throwing a bait with exposed treble hooks, like a crankbait, a jerkbait, a rattle trap type bait, something like that, just because it has a little more stretch and it allows those fish to get that bait a little better. By the time you set the hook, that little bit of stretch is going to allow those hooks to penetrate. So that's your main two differences with your fluorocarbon lines. And then they did recently debut two new lines for spinning rods. So they've got the P-Line SpinX braid, which is a braid that actually has two different color transitions. It's got a high-vis blue and a high-vis orange, where the blue shows up better on cloudy days and the orange shows up better on sunny days, where you can really watch your line on a spinning rod. And they also have a leader material called the SpinX fluorocarbon leader. So when you're throwing a spinning rod, you're using braid with a leader. You don't need to buy, a 250-yard spool of fluorocarbon to tie leaders with. So to be able to get that price point down on a good quality fluorocarbon for leader material, they offer the SpinX leader material in 50-yard spools at a good price point. And you can tie, 20 or 30 liters off of that for your spinning rod.
We're visiting with Brian Thrift, Major League Fishing competitor from Shelby, North Carolina. Do you spool the entire spool with fluoro, or do you back it with mono and then put your fluoro leader on there, or braid and all that? How do you do that?
So on a bait caster, I'll typically, whatever I'm going to spool up, if I've got a brand new reel, I'm going to spool it up with whatever size line I'm going to be using. And then when I change line, I'll pull off about 60 or 70 yards. So I'll just kind of put a top shot on there of about 60 or 70 yards anytime I need to put new line on. And with a spinning reel, what I like to do is I'll use the P-Line CXX. It's a copolymer as a backing on my spinning reel to keep the braid from slipping. So I'll spool my spinning reel about half full with that copolymer line, and then I will use the P-Line braid, the SpinX braid, whatever pound test it may be, 12, 16, whatever it is, and I'll fill the spool up with that SpinX braid and then use the fluorocarbon leader on my spinning reel.
One of the things that I run into a lot of times when I'm joining lines like that is if you got the littlest knot that gets onto that spool, it's going to really mess up the way at least for me, mess up the way my line sits on that spool when I reel in. What knot do you use, or how do you mitigate the disruption that occurs, when you've got a leader knot?
With a leader knot, I've tied the FG knot, and it's a very small diameter knot. It kind of acts like a Chinese finger trap to join the two lines together. It's a pressure knot, so the braid's actually squeezing around the fluorocarbon, so the harder it pulls, the tighter it gets. And it's a very small knot. It comes through your guides great, and it winds on the spool real easily as well.
I'll tell you what, we've enjoyed visiting with you, Brian Thrift, and I wish you well. Hope to see you here in just a couple of months in Huntsville, Alabama. Look forward to hopefully interviewing you again on the winner's stage.
Man, that would be great. I would love to do that.
All right.
Brian, we appreciate you very much. You're a champion. You're always welcome.
Thank you.
All right, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all. Have a good day.
We've got with us in the studio tonight Jeb Burnett, owner of Armtac Suppressors. Correct. And he's out in Roland, and been a longtime friend of Jeb's. We've hunted together and done a bunch of things together. And tell us about what you do, because a lot of people don't understand that.
So I am Armtac was founded by myself and my wife in 2010, and we, over the years, have become the largest silencer or sound suppressor manufacturer in the state of Arkansas. And that's what we do. We manufacture sound suppressors in-house from start to finish, from raw materials, CNC machining, design, testing, finish work. All the way to sales to both distributors and to qualified individuals.
All right, I'm the dummy here. Sound suppressors, what are we talking about?
Sound suppressors are the technical term for what's referred to as a silencer. A silencer is actually the legal term. The ATF actually uses the term silencer. It's not a silencer. It suppresses the sound of of a firearm, it's essentially a muffler. It's a gun muffler, just like you put a car muffler on your automobile. You put a sound suppressor or a muffler on the end of a firearm to mitigate its report.
How does that work exactly? There's baffles in there, and
yeah, it's a baffle system. There's, we've tried to remake the wheel over the last 100 years.
We're going to take us a break here on Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors. Come back and join us on the other side.
Surprise!
Surprise! I figured that was
When was the last time you went exploring in Arkansas? More importantly, when was the last time you went exploring the natural state on a Honda from Honda of North Little Rock? There are hundreds of miles of trails and back roads to discover. So if you have a passion for adventure, we have just the perfect Honda for you. Our new showroom is just that, as we show off Honda's best models of ATVs, motorcycles, and side-by-sides. We'll find you the perfect ride. Stop in today at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
Hi, this is Joe Klein, former Razorback and owner of Corky's Ribs and Barbecue.
And I'm Anthony Lucas, also a proud former Razorback and Corky's Barbecue regular customer.
We may represent different sports in different decades, but all generations of hogs agree.
Corky's is the only place to get the most delicious ribs and barbecue at a winning price.
So stop into Corky's now and every day for never-ending specials.
Corky's,
where the hogs come home, baby.
Corky's Ribs and Barbecue.
The name says it all, and you'll find Honda's best models at Honda of North Little Rock, as they're your one-stop destination for quality motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides. If you have a passion for adventure, head on over to Honda of North Little Rock, as they cater to both thrill seekers and outdoor enthusiasts. Whether you're hitting the trails, cruising the roads, or exploring rugged terrain, we'll find the perfect ride for you. Nothing matches Honda's power, reliability, and innovation. Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters. When you're out and about in the natural state, whether it's work or play, be sure to make W's Convenience Stores your one-stop shop. With 34 locations in central Arkansas, they're easy to find. Headed to the lake or just taking in the beauty of Arkansas? Stop in at your nearest W's location. Their double blend of coffee is always hot and fresh. Snacks, W's has them. Want more than a snack? Many W's have hot delis. And don't forget the hot breakfast sandwiches. W's, where you gas it, grab it, and go.
Pickup truck, sports car, motorcycle, minivan, townhouse, two-story, farmhouse, fixer-upper. What you drive and where you live is different for everyone, so it's important to have insurance that fits your needs and is just right for you. At Shelter Insurance, we understand that, which is why our agents help you design a comprehensive auto, home, and life insurance plan. Insurance that fits just right.
See Shelter Agent Christy Pettit in Maumelle, Matt Cooper in Russellville, or Madison Buse in England.
On your way to the Little Rock Airport this morning? While you're away, we're pampering your car. We can fix or replace your windshield, even help file the insurance claim. Imagine returning home to a car that has been washed and detailed, plus had an oil change, brake inspection, even a tire rotation. And if you return to a dead battery or a flat tire, we're there to get you back on the road. Fast, secure parking for less than municipal airport parking. Expressway airport parking, left of the airport entrance.
Arkansas is known for its beauty. Rolling hills, scenic fields and valleys, and beautiful rivers run through our state. We want to keep Arkansas beautiful, but we need your help. Do your part by not littering and by keeping your community clean. Register for a local cleanup or become a litter grabber to fight litter at your own pace. Your community needs you. Join us in keeping Arkansas beautiful. Visit keeparkansasbeautiful.com to learn more. This message brought to you by this station, the Arkansas Broadcasters Association, and the Keep Arkansas Beautiful Commission.
When was the last time you went exploring in Arkansas? More importantly, when was the last time you went exploring the natural state on a Honda from Honda of North Little Rock? There are hundreds of miles of trails and back roads to discover. So if you have a passion for adventure, we have just the perfect Honda for you. Our new showroom is just that, as we show off Honda's best models of ATVs, motorcycles, and side-by-sides. We'll find you the perfect ride. Stop in today at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
And we're back. with Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors, and we are not going to be silenced.
I was trying to put a silencer on you, but I don't know the questions asking us.
I don't think you can do that, Ray.
We're not going to be silenced, but we are talking to
No,
a man
we're
that
not.
makes silencers,
You do
suppressors.
have that right.
And talking with Jeb Burnett of Armtac Suppressors. And, you know, a lot of the conversations that go on in the breaks are pretty fascinating. You were talking about your social media presence and how important that is to you.
Yeah, it really is. You can use social media, a little company like mine, you know, Silencer Co., Dead Air, these other silencer manufacturers, these massive silencer manufacturers have $1 million marketing budgets. Well, I don't, but I can go to social media and we can put a video out there with like our little Armtac CZ455 integrally suppressed rifle, which is, it's Hollywood quiet. And it is, we've got a video out there. It's got 15 million views on it. We've got several other videos.
You said 15 million.
15 million, yeah. And I didn't monetize it, which is, I guess I did monetize it because I'm selling, you know, we're selling the product. But had I known about monetizing videos when we did that one, I probably should have done that. But yeah, we've got quite a few, and then we've got somewhere between 70 and 80,000 Facebook followers on the Armtac on the Armtac Suppressors page.
Yeah, people all over the world.
All over the United States. We don't do any export business. Lots of hoops to run through on that. I've actually put several contract bids in for suppressed weapon systems for foreign militaries, and man, the hoops that you have to run through are just incredible. But yes, every state in the United States that allows the use of suppressor has an Armtac suppressor in it. I have sold I think it's 39 or 41 states now, and I've sold one to every one of them.
You know, it's a you know, a cliche, the booming report of a rifle on, you know, during deer season.
Absolutely.
And that's really not what you want, especially if you're in a doe culling situation.
Correct.
Where one shot's going to scatter the whole herd.
And not only that, Brian, everybody's gotten to where they hunt in box stands.
Mm-hmm.
Really, hearing protection is as much anything else. But yeah, particularly in culling and everything else. Now, keep in mind that a high-powered rifle shooting supersonic ammunition, folks, they don't sound like they do in the movies. You know, a high-powered rifle is not going to go pew. It's going to have
a very loud pellet rifle.
308, 20-inch barrel 308 bolt action with an efficient 30 caliber suppressor on it. Has about the same muzzle report, a little bit quieter than a 22 long rifle unsuppressed. So you're going to get you're going to disguise about 75 to 80% of the muzzle blast, but that bullet breaking the sound barrier makes a pretty loud crack, and that's what you're still going to hear. Now, I've taken whitetail with a high-powered rifle where I've actually heard 175 grain 308 projectile hit the deer.
Oh yeah.
And it makes, and then you can go into shooting subsonic cartridges, and of course with our straight wall season now here in Arkansas, 350 Legend, 4570 cartridges like that 450 Bushmaster. Those are shelf-loaded, off-the-shelf subsonic rounds, and they are very, very quiet when run through a suppressor, and the projectile strike's pretty impressive.
So you're not a hearing aid company's best friend.
I am not a hearing aid company's best friend. Suppressors are off-operator hearing protection is what they are. They are designed, we really are, we're the only country, the United States is the only country that allows their ownership but regulates them in the manner that we do. Great Britain, which is terribly strict on firearm ownership, 18 to 24 months to get a permit to buy literally a 22 to shoot pests in your garden. But a suppressor or a moderator, as the Brits call it, that's cash and carry there. Same thing in Australia, same thing in New Zealand, same thing in Finland, Czech Republic, Poland, Germany. Many of the countries allow their ownership and view them as noise pollution control devices versus, poachers or assassins' tools, which is the problem that we have here in the United States, and is one of the reasons that they've been heavily regulated since 1934.
which has always struck me as kind of odd because my impression of the average poacher is not a guy that's going to spend that much money to put a suppressor on his gun.
Not only are they not going to spend the money, they're not going to jump through the loopholes necessary to own one as well. If they run a suppressor at all, it's going to be a homemade suppressor. That's already, criminals don't obey the law. I think, that's kind of the crux of gun control. Well, criminals don't obey the law anyway. So with a poacher, and typically most of the poachers we see, they're running 22 long rifles, they're running 22 Magnums, they're running 17s and stuff like that, and they're doing it, at night in the middle of nowhere. Nobody hears them.
Right. Unless they're reported.
Yeah.
And you were talking about, the United Kingdom, and I believe in Scotland, and if you're big game hunting in Scotland, Ireland, that's required. You've got to use them.
New Zealand is the same way.
Yeah.
You're required to run a suppressor, and because it is hearing protection. There are a tremendous amount of benefits to running a suppressor, but the main benefit is not disguising the shot of the firearm to keep from being detected. It's muffling the report of the firearm to keep from losing your hearing. I don't know a whole lot of hunters that sit in their box stand with the hearing protection on and shoot their 308 or their 270 or their 30-06 or, I don't know a lot of them that do that. Man, that's single instant 172 decibels right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's immediate hearing damage.
Right.
You don't realize it is, but I did that from the time I was probably 10 or 12 years old until now. And yeah, I need hearing aids.
And
I can't tell you how many friends I have that have horrible hearing. And younger than I am.
Yeah.
I don't get all that. I've never taken a poll to see how many of them hunt.
Ray, I'm 51, and I've shot competitively since I was about 12 years old, and I can tell you that I have a tremendous amount of hearing damage. Of course, I run a machine shop too, and listening while the noise, it's not loud, it's a constant, it's constant noise. So that does damage. So anything I can do when I'm hunting or when I'm shooting, target shooting or anything else, anything I can do to mitigate more hearing damage, I'm going to do it. I've gotten to a point where I shoot almost nothing anymore that is not suppressed, with the exception of I still don't suppress my waterfowl shotgun. It's just they're just too big and unwieldy on the end of a shotgun, and unless everybody else you're shooting with, you're hunting with in the hole is shooting one, there's just no sense in it. And of course, I shoot IDPA competition, which is International Defensive Pistol Association, and of course we can't use them for that. But man, everything else, plinking with the 22, squirrel hunting, rabbit hunting, deer hunting, hog hunting, you name it. It's got a can on it.
All right, we will continue our conversation with Jeb Burnett, the owner of Armtac Suppressors, right after this. The name says it all, and you'll find Honda's best models at Honda of North Little Rock, as they're your one-stop destination for quality motorcycles, ATVs, and side-by-sides. If you have a passion for adventure, head on over to Honda of North Little Rock, as they cater to both thrill seekers and outdoor enthusiasts. Whether you're hitting the trails, cruising the roads, or exploring rugged terrain, we'll find the perfect ride for you. Nothing matches Honda's power, reliability, and innovation. Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
The king of Arkansas sports talk, Randy Rainwater for Bet Saracen.
In Arkansas, 7 out of every $10 placed on a sporting bet app is with Bet Saracen, because Bet Saracen offers more ways to win and more ways to get paid, and faster. Find your winners on Bet Saracen and look for my Double R prop bet specials. I pick them and you win them.
Bet Saracen is Arkansas's favorite sports wagering app.
Gambling problem? Call 800-522-4700.
Arkansas is special. Our people are honest and hardworking. The Brad Hendricks Law Firm is pure Arkansas. We were raised here, we live here, and we're straight shooters. Unfortunately, out-of-state lawyers who care nothing about Arkansas are advertising for your legal business. They don't understand that you don't hand Arkansans a pile of cow dung and try to tell us it's a rose. Don't be just a number. Call the Brad Hendricks Law Firm. Tradition, reputation, results.
Winter's kicked off at Gwatney Buick GMC's Snows Out Closeout. Right now, get your choice of 24 Canyon or 25 Enclave with $5,000 melted off the MSRP. 2025 Turbo Max Sierra and 2024 Terrain are frozen at 0.9%. Get your snow boots on because these savings are deep. Get a flurry of discounts on new Yukon, up to $5,000 off MSRP. Brand new Hummers with MSRPs thawed down by $10,000. Hummer EVs at 0% for 60 months. 24 or 25 Encore GX preferred at 0.9. Call 501-945-4444. And if you need help with a down payment, we're matching your tax return up to $1,000. Gwatney Buick GMC, 5700 Landers Road in North Little Rock. GwatneyBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade. It's Gwatney Buick GMC's Snows Out Closeout. No weather's gonna stop this sale. All offers with approved credit. 30259, 30318, 31026, 30763.
Injured? There's only one number you need to know. 888-8888.
At Rainwater Holton Sexton, no case is too big and no insurance company too strong.
Just dial 888-8888.
Responsible attorneys Michael Rainwater and Bob Sexton.
ABC Supply presents Shannon Lynn, our favorite musicologist, when he joins Morning Mayhem. ABC Supply in North Little Rock, let's get your job done together. For location and product information, find them online at abcsupply.com.
Introducing Club 52 from Arkansas State Parks, a club that's fun, full of adventure, and open to anyone. Just pick up a free passport at any state park visitor center and start exploring. With every state park you visit, you get a stamp. When you get all 52 stamps, you're in the club, and you get some pretty cool rewards along the way. So grab your passport and start exploring. Club 52 from Arkansas State Parks. Get out to get in.
Brought to you by this station and the Arkansas Broadcasters Association.
When was the last time you went exploring in Arkansas? More importantly, when was the last time you went exploring the natural state on a Honda from Honda of North Little Rock? There are hundreds of miles of trails and back roads to discover. So if you have a passion for adventure, we have just the perfect Honda for you. Our new showroom is just that, as we show off Honda's best models of ATVs, motorcycles, and side-by-sides. We'll find you the perfect ride. Stop in today at Honda of North Little Rock, your family fun headquarters.
And we're back with Ray Tucker's Arkansas Outdoors, and we're visiting with Jeb Burnett, owner of Armtac Suppressors of Roland. And how do people find you? How do people that are interested?
The best way is to either go, if you want to look at our videos and our products and everything else, we have a website. It's a very good website, but it also hasn't been updated in a while. So we're in the middle of updating it right now. But our website's out there. It's armtacusa.com. Probably the best source of information, and it has all of our contact information, would be our Facebook page, which is at Armtac Guns on Facebook. Otherwise, they can call me. Very simple. Armtac phone number, 501-626-2796. We're open Tuesday through Thursday from 9 to 5, and Mondays and Fridays by appointment. And so, yeah.
Y'all offer coupons?
Sure. At least for you, Brian.
All right. One thing I wanted to talk about here before we go is one thing that I'm real interested in. A lot of people that own a good collection of firearms is how to protect that investment and treat it as an asset through gun trusts, I guess it is. And you know quite a bit about that.
I do, mostly in the context of NFA transfers, which are National Firearms Act transfers, stuff like silencers. And the trusts in those contexts are used primarily to allow multiple possessors of a single item or a batch of items, or to ease in the transition to heirs. If you put your collection or your suppressor in a trust, particularly the NFA items, if you do it as an individual, that item is registered to you and to you alone. You are the one that has to be physically present at all times it's used. So you can't let your brother or your son or anybody like that take. You really can't even let your spouse take it and use it without you being present. The trust allows for additional trustees to be on there, so that allows multiple possessors of that item. It also simplifies. So a lot of people, there's a big misconception that if you pass and you're an individual and you have an NFA item, that the government gets it. Well, that's not true. It actually transfers. If it's an individual, it transfers tax-free on an ATF Form 5 to a decedent or an heir. However, if you have that item on a trust, there's no transfer needed. It just goes to the next person in line in the trust. So multiple people can be on a trust, and it is a good way. It does protect that asset in that manner. The implications for investment and everything. I'm not an attorney, so I couldn't tell you that part. But I can tell you I can tell you how they work in the NFA world.
That's good stuff.
Does it affect the trustee's ability to dispose of it? Say you pass on, you got a gun collection, your kids don't want it, your spouse doesn't know what to do with it. Does it affect their ability?
It does not affect. The trust anybody, whoever controls the trust at the time, whether it's an heir, the executor, or the estate, you can always transfer those items out of, whether it's a Title I firearm, which you can sell. You can either sell it on consignment, auction, or sell it individually. But an NFA item, one that's actually papered through the ATF under the National Firearms Act, that can be transferred out. It'll be transferred out of the trust on an ATF Form 4, just like you purchased it. It'll go out the same way.
How important is it to maintain an inventory of values for your collection? So when if your kids inherit that, they, a lot of times they don't know what stuff's worth.
I can tell you, having sold and brokered an awful lot of estates, as well as machine gun collections and some other stuff, that is very, very important to stay on top of that. Tell your wife what the guns are worth. I mean, you're going to try to hide it, but tell her what they're worth,
right, man. Before you die.
Tell her what they're worth on your deathbed if you have to. Look, this wasn't a $25 pistol. This was a $2,500 pistol.
These are worth $25,000 more than your diamond.
I have I have a pretty decent gun collection. Let's just say that I've got a fairly decent gun collection.
That's a shocker.
I have some firearms that are worth a fairly significant amount of money. I have all of those insured. Once every 24 months, I update my insurance on them, because I will probably acquire something during that time. I don't dispose of anything anymore. I'm at a point in my life where I don't have to sell a gun to get another gun. So I'm at a point that I don't dispose it. So the collection just grows. So the collection grows. It automatically goes into my inventory. But every 24 months, for insurance purposes, I revalue my collection for my insurance.
All right, info on your company again, how people get in touch with you.
ArmTacUSA.com, Facebook at ArmTac Guns, and 501-626-2796 is the phone number.
I'll tell you what, those insurance riders are pretty expensive.
They're real expensive. Let me tell you, for a okay firearm collection, they're real expensive.
Gotta have it though. It's a lot more expensive to lose them.
Jeb Burnett.
Safes are good things.
I don't know much about guns. I got educated tonight.
Appreciate it, Ray.
Appreciate it very much, Brian Thrift. Good luck in the upcoming huge tournament.